Okay, thank you, everybody, and I apologize, the camera is off-centered to where the computer's sitting, so everyone that's online, I do appreciate you joining us today. We are recording this session of Take Command and Command. It shouldn't be too intense or too, this is going to be more question-driven, I guess you could say, than anything else. I did identify an issue with smart plans, which I'll bring up later. However, I want to go over smart plans with you. I kind of came up with a little, what did I put right here? A little list for smart plans that Heather and I were working on smart plans a few moments ago. And this is something that I kind of try to teach with respect to smart plans. With a smart plan, you need to know either your expected or desired result of the smart plan, especially when you're creating your own smart plan. I personally like to create them from scratch. I may take some of the ideas from the other smart plans that are existing. However, think of it like a flow chart. You need to know what you want it to do and what the end result is. With respect to the smart plans that are in the library now, there are so many smart plans available to us up to maybe, I'll say right before Mega Camp, there were 10. And if you knew how to create one, then you would have yours. However, what the main thing you need to know is you need to review the steps, what is being done, and when it's being done. In other words, is it an email? Is it a text message? What is the task if there is one? You need to know all this information beforehand. You want to keep that in mind because you just don't want to throw someone on a smart plan and then randomly wonder why they're unsubscribing or why they don't want to talk to you. If you start inundating your customer database with information because you just start sending them smart plans, that's not really a smart use of the tool. Again, once a smart plan has been added to your library, make sure what is being sent is what you want to see. Know the difference between a merge field and a placeholder. There are certain smart plans where the merge field is there, like the contact name or the contact email, things of that nature. And then there are placeholders where it's, you're going to see where maybe it's normal brackets or normal parentheses, and it's where you're going to have to type your information in because the smart field or the merge field is not available at this time. And then one thing I will discuss later at the end, towards the end, is the results of moving contacts for those who are on a team. The results of moving your contacts from the personal account to the team account. That one's also almost is so easy to describe that when you move them from your personal account to the team account, any existing smart plans that you had running are terminated right then and there. It's just stops them because no longer the personal smart plan is no longer the team smart plan. So, let's see, I gotta get a level one. It doesn't want to show it. So we're going to go to our dashboard. Closing everything for now. There we go. Welcome home, Chuck. All right. Maybe. If I can get it to, there we go. Minimizing the little booger likes to get in the way so we can't click anything. I'm going to switch to my personal account. As a member of a team, I have two accounts, my personal and my team. I'm going to switch to personal for now. And then we're going to go to smart plans. If you do not recall the icon for smart plan or you don't recall any of the applets icons, click on the red square and it expands the menu so that you see the actual name and click on smart plans. Now, for example, one thing that I want to make sure I'm crystal clear on. This is going to be more question driven. If I can ever get the chat back up. So I apologize if it's not, there we go. I'll try to get the chat up. So if you're coming up with questions, I can see them. So give me just a second. Yes, Heather, there are quite a few smart plans as we were going in our little class, little session between the two of us. So I'm making the chat so that I can see it. So if anyone has any questions, I can see them. So I apologize as I move it around. Is everyone able to see my command? Relatively easy. Is it okay to see it? I know that Debbie here can see it pretty well. I just want to make sure everyone else can. I'm going to start in the library. This is what a lot of people don't realize is here. If you are in command and you go to Smart Plans, click on Library. When you click on Library, the first thing you're going to see are, I call them default Smart Plans. These were the Smart Plans that Keller Williams made available to all agents last year. Things such as the quarterly call plan, the monthly neighborhood nurture, bi-weekly neighborhood nurture, long-term nurture. These are smart plans that were made available to everyone. In order to see them, I'm going to change the view here to 80. There you go, makes it a little easier. If you see these 8 here and there's a little arrow, just click the arrow and you can see the additional smart plans that may. These are like pages on your viewing something. Some of the smart plans are very, very basic smart plans. And believe it or not, when you're asked, like for the 80/20 Advantage program, when you're asked to create a smart plan, let's just look at the quarterly call plan, just to give you, this is an actual smart plan. There's nothing wrong with it. First thing, make a phone call, call the contact, wait 90 days, and do it again. That's a smart plan. Now you're thinking, well, why would anyone want to have that? If you're doing the DTD2 and you're calling your contacts once a quarter, this is your reminder to call them once a quarter.
It shows up on your task.
It does show up on your task. And anytime it says phone call, because the phone call is something that the smart plan cannot automate for you. It can send a text message. It can send an email, but it cannot make the phone call for you. And you'll see that in some of the smart plans. We'll kind of look at a few where it definitely says, hey, this is a touch task. If you remember, one thing that I wanted you to look at, know your desired or expected result of the smart plan. So on the smart plan that we're looking at with the quarterly call plan, what is the expected result? That I'm going to be reminded every quarter to call the contact. That's relatively simple. I mean, that's great. That's easy. View the steps. Review what is done and when it's done. You're going to get a task letting you know you need to call every 90 days. It says 91 days because once you make the call, and then it repeats for the 90 days. Make sure if something's being sent for you, whether it be a text message or an email, make sure that information that's being sent is what you want to see. For example, I'm going to call up, because this is the one that Heather and I were discussing earlier. To me, this is one of the best smart plans that was ever published by an agent, which actually, let's go over that for just 1 second here. The people plans, those are the ones that I've added to my personal account. If you think of it, I added to my personal account. Published. If I create a smart plan that I want to share with everyone else, with all the other agents within Keller Williams, you publish your smart plan. This is how it shows up in that library for everyone else to say, you know what, I like that idea. And if you look in the library itself, you will see there's like so many stars. You know, it's got a 5-star or a 4-star or whatever the case may be. So it's kind of to me, it almost reminds me of getting likes on social media or something, or people liking your plan. Right now, all smart plans are being made available to us for free. There are some talks of actually having some smart plans if agents want to monetize. I don't know how they're going to work that. I don't know if and when that's coming out anytime soon. But still, I want you to note, if you look, it says free. Those are the best ones. That's my price range all the time. This here is an example I want to use because Heather and I were both discussing this earlier. This is called the buyer education. It's 15 days. There's quite a few emails that are sent out. The emails are wonderful. So if you look, I'm going to actually see if I have it. Give me a second. I'm going to see if I added it back to my smart plan. Yes, I did. Good. Makes it a little easier to read. I'm going to click on edit so that you can see the information that's within each of the emails per se. If you look, this information right here where I'm highlighting, if I can. Of course, this mouse doesn't want to work. It's always this mouse. I tell you what. If everyone can see where it says, hey, then contact name and those fancy little brackets, that is called a merge field. The merge field will populate the information from the contact card. So I don't have to put a personal greeting, but if I want the smart plan to send a personal greeting, it will say, hey, Bob, or hey, Tom, or hey, Mary. Over here, use merge fields to automate the contact with associated subject. So when you create a smart plan, and you're going to want this to be applicable possibly to everyone, then here's your merge fields right now that are available. There's the contact's first name, the contact's last name, their email address, their phone number, their birthday, their home anniversary, your first name, your last name, if you're on a team, the team's name, and then your Keller Williams app link. All this information is pulled from your marketing profile, unless it says contact, and then it's pulled from the contacts card, from your contact card. As I destroyed the computer here. This, where it says, hey, contact first name. This is a merge field. So it will put in the contact's first name automatically. So if you assign it to 50 different people with 50 different first names, it will make sure when it's sent to them, it will have the appropriate first name.
Chuck, are you have somewhere that we can get into? Because I don't see how you got right here.
Sure,
I
not a
got
problem.
the campaign, but I don't see how you
Not a
got
problem.
into the details of it.
Sure. So and she asked if I could go back and show how I got to where I was at. I'm in my buyer education.
Right, okay, do you have to access it through your My Smart Plans and not through the library? Maybe that's what it is.
Well, added to, because
okay.
I went to edit. And when I edit, if I want to change the
Okay.
contents of,
Like instead of hey, maybe you want hi.
right,
Yeah.
hello,
A
or,
lot of people wouldn't love it.
exactly,
Okay, got
Or,
it, that's
you
what I
know,
was looking for. Thank you.
greetings, whatever it is. Now, some people, everyone wants to change something. You want to personalize it to you.
Got it, thank you.
Contact first name is a merge field, which will pull from the contact card. Going down, if you can see this, it says agent email. See this right here? The agent email. It says agent cell number. And you can also see where it says agent name. It's kind of regular parentheses, bold, and italicized. Those are placeholders. You need to go in and put in your agent email and your cell phone number and your agent name. They are not merge fields. So you would have to physically go in and edit this smart plan, because that's not a merge field. It is just a placeholder for you, telling you, you need to put this information here.
So if it's got the hyperlink.
If it has that fancy looking brackets like up here, and it will have everything in small letters like that,
Then it's.
that is a merge field. If it doesn't, if it has something, and every agent that publishes does it differently. So there's a chance the next one you go to, they may not have it underlined, italicized, and bold. That makes it easy to spot for the agents. However, you just want to make sure that you want to go through, because remember, one of my steps, I said, review what you've done. Once you've added it to the library, you want to review and make sure it's what's being sent is what you want being sent. So you can go through and you can see all the steps. You can see everything that's going to be sent. If you want to personalize this, or if you need to change anything, if you want to remove where it says here on this particular email, as a full-time agent and real estate instructor. What if you're not a real estate instructor? Technically you are. Even if you are a less seasoned agent, you are a real estate instructor for your buyers or your sellers. You are a consultant, you are their instructor. Now I'm gonna go up here. So this is where you can edit the stages, so you can look and see what the actual steps are gonna be.
You even need to change the signature.
Whatever you want, that's the
Yeah,
best
you
part.
don't have to, I mean.
I would recommend, and I really recommend this to a lot of people, make sure, let's go back to edit, because I want to make sure everyone knows this. There is a character limit for the emails. So there's a 2,000 character limit. So if you're going to add a personalized or team signature of some sort, you got to be careful it doesn't exceed, or do you have to start taking information away from. So this is why you want to review and look at these steps in depth before you just simply add someone to a smart plan. Because if you go in there and you just put your agent name and then you start adding something else, and if your name is longer than agent name, and if your email is longer than the characters in agent email, you suddenly now have less characters. Right now, we only have, 45 characters remaining. We don't actually have a phone number in there. We don't actually have the email in there. We don't actually have my name. So if I were to add that information and I want to put the full signature, I have to basically come up with a happy medium. Either some information in the email is going to be removed, or I simply add a simplified signature. Does that make sense? So you want to be aware of all those factors. It's not that complicated. Just realize everything has a certain character limit that it's going to send. It will say part of free. Anytime you make any changes to your smart plan, if you want to change it, let's say I just want to change it and go ahead and put my Am I almost at the limit now? But if I put my email in there now, my recommendation right now, while they're still doing all the changes in the work in command, save it after each step. Technically, I could go to every one of these and just wait for the very last one to hit the check mark where it says save and save it. However, knowing that every once in a while, command can go up and down, or even your internet can go up and down. If you don't click save, there is no autosave. So if you don't, so I would, being there are so many emails in this particular smart plan, I would only do one or two at a time, then I click save. One or two at a time, maybe three at tops, and click save. Depending upon your internet speed, and at the end of the day, if command seems like it's been pretty responsive, pretty good, responsive and stable, then maybe I'll do 3. I just don't want to do 2. You don't want to do all that work and then something happens and you get kicked out of command and you just lost all that work. That will be frustrating and frustrating. But if you see, there's 1 email, there's 2 emails, there's another email, another email, another email. This is an educational, it's a series that you send to someone, educating them on buying a home. If you haven't read it, if you have anyone who's even on the fence about buying, or someone who may be thinking about buying, this is really your, if you want to say this, you want to go through and make sure, like for example, this one here, step 7, attorney review and home inspection. We're not in New Jersey, so we don't have. If there's an attorney involved, yes, there would be something, but there is no attorney review. So this is something that you need to go through. The gentleman that made this is in New Jersey, so as such, he has to make it applicable for his customer base. We're not in New Jersey. We can just say, you're now in the contract. Now the home inspection period begins, or the escrow period. I may change that from attorney review and home inspection to escrow and home inspection, or something to that degree. Something that's more applicable to our scenario in Florida as opposed to something in New Jersey. Talks about closing day. It's really given them the information that most buyers need. But you need to go through, you need to know what's being sent. And by the same token, do you notice, for example, in step 16 here, that's a 2-day delay. Earlier on in the smart plan, it was only a 1-day delay. A 1-day delay simply means it does a step, then it goes to the next day. This one is a 2-day delay. So if it did it today, it would be Wednesday before it did it again. Does that make sense to everyone? I'll make you a co-host. So go through, make sure you read it. Just for an example, talk about you're almost there. We'll go to a predetermined settlement location. I don't think we have any offices at Morristown. I'm not sure if there's a Morristown, Florida. Could be, who knows? However, this is information you want to read through. This gentleman came up with a beautiful buyer education smart plan. However, the information that he is conveying is applicable to buyers in the state of New Jersey. You need to make it applicable to the buyers in Florida. I like his little email here because it's like the joy of home ownership begins, but he goes through all the steps of everything that you've gone through. And that's the end of a smart plan. So if you look, he basically has the 10 steps. It's 15 days. 19 steps, technically it's 10 steps. Yes, you can delete a step if you want. Heather just put in the chat. You can delete steps too if you like. Yeah, if you want to delete one, like we'll just say the attorney review. Where's the attorney review there? Okay. Come over here and delete it. You can delete and make sure, and this is something hopefully it recounts. Sure, let's delete. She wants to see it. Let's remove the step. Everything's now, it's no longer 19, it's 18, the last one. She was like, if you delete a step, does it recount the steps and the days and everything else? Yes. However, when you delete a step like that, you want to be careful right here. You don't have 2 delays in a row.
Oh, so you gotta delete the delay.
You have to delete the delay that was associated with the step. So by the same token, we delete, we say we want to remove. Now it's down to 17. See how it's 17 as opposed to before. By the same token, yes, the subject line will need to change. Because before you were doing step 10, well, you removed step 7, right? Yeah, we removed step 7. So now this is going to need to be step 7. This is going to need to be step 8. This is going to need to be step 9, and you're going to have to get rid of the step 7 that's in the email. When you start making these changes, you need to make sure you're taking everything into consideration in the smart plan. Whatever, if you make a minor change like that, oh, I'll just remove it. Make sure that, if we'll say the reference is not somewhere further down the line, as in this case. This is an excellent example because of the fact that, one, you're not in New Jersey. Two, if we remove that step, suddenly now the subject line of all these emails need to change because the steps have been renumbered. All these things that we have to take into consideration. So right now, does anyone have any question with that? Does it make sense with respect to making sure you not only know what's being sent, but when it's being sent? Because go ahead.
So I was wondering about overkill.
This is why I say when it's being sent. And excuse me, and that was something that I was trying to convey when we were having our conversation.
So like this would be okay, but there was one that you were talking about that was like a monthly nurture maybe, but then there was another plan where you call once every 3 months.
90. Well, there's a difference between reaching out and making a phone call, which you need to do, and sending an email in the monthly nurture. How many times did they recommend that we touch a contact each year? 36.
Oh, sure.
Okay. That's what they're saying, 36 touches.
That's
So what does that mean? How many times a month? Minimum. 3. Well, if you do the quarterly call plan, that's once a quarter, so that's 4 touches right there. If you send the monthly neighborhood nurture, that's 12, which means you're up to 16. Now you're going to want to do events or pop buys, things of that nature. So you can start adding things. You can create your own smart plans, but you can use some of the smart plans that are in existence now. That's why when you and I were talking, I wanted to convey, what I try to do is I try to map out, because I'm going to go up here and we'll get out of this. Heck, I'm going to switch to my Rainmaker, only because I can show you if I want to add somebody to a smart plan. I can add me. You can delay the start of a smart plan. Let's see if I'm still in there. Let's see if I'm still in there.
Hey Chuck, while you're looking that up, what do you suggest when there is someone that you can't put on neighborhood nurture because they don't have an actual neighborhood that's recognized by the system?
Have you looked them up on the map?
Yeah, like one of them is Tanner Road is what their neighborhood is called on the appraiser site. So they don't technically have like a neighborhood.
Not recognized by next door.
No, so it's not being recognized as an actual neighborhood like Wedgefield. That's an actual neighborhood or whatever they call it, Orlando Acres, or you know what I mean?
What I would do, remember I told you the email that I sent? I send an email to all the people before I ever put them on monthly. My smart plan for monthly neighborhood nurture, one, you get an email telling you why I'm adding you and what it is. Now I can create an additional smart plan for those who don't live in a recognized neighborhood. These are the neighborhoods around your home. So
okay, I see.
Almost can come up with a workaround. So if they don't live in what's considered a recognized neighborhood, like you're saying, but there's got to be neighborhoods around it.
Like out in Geneva.
Right, like in Geneva, yeah, there's like in Geneva, Florida. Just because it's not recognized, you know what? I can still give them some homes around the area.
Okay, I see.
This is a conversation starter. This should not be the end all be all for them. It's a conversation starter. Get them into the monthly neighborhood nurture, then they can create their own searches, or they download your app and they do, it's a conversation starter. This should not be handoff and that's it. Because remember, you're gonna be calling them once a quarter anyway. Do you have any questions on the monthly neighborhood nurture? Well, yeah, we live on Taylor Road and that's, I don't see that on, right now we don't have the ability, but and just, that's when you have to add your real estate consultant hat on and explain to them, I'm trying to do the best I can with what I have, for lack of a better term.
Deal.
Explain that to the novelty of your own location.
That's it. You need to move.
Yeah, that's it.
Just tell them that you need to move. But when you start somebody on a smart plan, let's see, I'm gonna go see if I'm still in if I'm personal or if I'm, come on, Chuck, where you at? Chuck's not there. Yay. Okay. Is he only in smart plans? Okay, for anyone, and this is only applicable to anyone that is on a team. I moved this personal, from my personal account, I moved my contacts all over to my team account. As the Rainmaker I wanted everything on the team account. This is the reason you see the account is the Deborah Morris Home Team. The ownership, where it says owner, is Chuck Morris. If for some reason I were to leave the team, I still retain the ownership of the contact. The contact's put in like a freeze mode, if you want to think of it that way. So I still have the contact. However, any updates that were made after that freeze time, unfortunately, do not go into contact. So if I freeze it on November, when did I move it over? November 5th. So anything that has been done to this particular contact after November 5th will not be seen if I leave the team all of a sudden and take my contact back with me. So if I go to Smart Plans, and I'm just going to pretend like I'm going to add me to a Smart Plan. I need something to make me smart. Let's just say I'm going to do the promote my app. Do you see where it's the options right there? Start now or start on the following date. Because like you're saying, you don't want to inundate them with everything. So you need to be cognizant of what is sent and when it's sent. So if I were to put Chuck on the monthly neighborhood nurture as of today, I want to try to avoid a smart plan that's going to be sending something the 9th of each month if I can. Is it impossible? It can be. But you want to go through and you can track if you want to do that. Let's say I want to add into that, but you can do that with any smart plan. I really want to tell people, it's almost like you want to, you know what, I know that they're getting, and how do you know when they're getting the monthly neighborhood nurture? When you look in their timeline, it will show that it was sent, and it'll show the date it was sent. That's the same day of the month it's going to be sent. So you're like, you know what, I'm going to start on this new smart plan that does, I don't know, whatever the case may be. Let me make sure it's not being sent on the, I'm not starting on the 9th of the month. But the smart plans are a way to automate touches, whether they be text messages or emails. I almost want to call them, they remind me of the campaigns that EH had to some degree. Right there. So let me ask, I just want to make sure, are we clear on the difference between a merge field and a placeholder? I'm going to go back to the smart plans to see if we can find a smart plan that I'm trying to think who it is that has the placeholder doesn't look the same as that particular one. I know there was one, like, and all of a sudden now I'm drawing a blank. As I get older, it happens more and more. Come on, work with me. Something went wrong. There's always something went wrong. Trying to think. Connor does his that way. I want to find something with some steps. Let's see. Let's view the steps of the 66-day 4.0 Facebook lead follow-up. So I'm going to add that smart plan. Now, this is something I'm glad because I forgot to do this. Just a team. Yeah. You see where it says smart plan bundle? Everyone sees that? I'm going to assume I don't see any no's. In order for me to run the 66-day challenge 4.0 Facebook lead follow-up shared, good God, Marty, you could have shortened that. In order to run this smart plan, I need additional smart plans in place. Part of this smart plan is going to be adding, which is funny because I already have the monthly neighborhood nurture added. So I'm curious why it's telling me how to download it. My long-term nurture and the monthly neighborhood nurture. This is something I may have to bring up to support why it's showing that. It shouldn't have to. Again, see the little toggles down here? These are the pages. These are the top 50 that have been rated. If you look, there are different smart plans for almost every scenario you can think of. If think of a smart plan that you would want to have. A smart plan that off the top of your head, just, I don't know.
Just in general?
Yeah, just what type of smart plan would you think? You know what?
Just a monthly gentle touch. It's not a neighborhood nurture.
Okay.
Do they have a holiday one?
Oh, yeah. Here's monthly. There's 31 results. There's the monthly referral request. There's the bi-monthly active downloads, monthly calls, monthly testimonials, monthly business check, intro. Everyone's got an intro now.
Like an E-Edge, we had, it was just a monthly, just
Like a newsletter? The
And it was really nice.
newsletters are not
That's not
in there yet.
okay.
They know, especially with the edge going away, the newsletters are a must.
Yeah.
Trust me when I tell you, they know this.
Do you
Do
know?
you do the newsletter, Chuck?
Do I? Yes.
What do you use?
MailChimp. No, actually, I use MailerLite now. I switched from MailChimp.
You use a what?
MailerLite.
Miller Lite?
Mailer.
Yeah, I use that too, but MailerLite.
Now he's a whiskey guy.
That's it.
Mailer, okay, Mailer Lite like that?
MailerLite.
Oh. Wow.
There's a reason that I use MailerLite. Was anyone else using MailChimp and saw how expensive it was you could only have one audience. Had to be you could remove from the audience, but you could never add. It made it a whole new audience and they would charge you. So MailChimp was charging by the audience. As long as you have
Oh, it's free.
1 to 1,000 subscribers, and if you want to send less than 12,000 emails a month, it's free.
Oh, wow.
You see
Okay.
why I switched from MailChimp to MailerLite?
And you build your own newsletter
You
then?
build your own newsletter.
Fabulous.
I mean, if you wanted to go unlimited emails, but are you really going to want to send
No.
12 email? I mean, if you think about it, if you have 1,000 subscribers, are you going to send them 12 emails, more than 12 emails a month?
But you can.
But the thing is, this has, and I'm not trying to I don't want to get this into a MailerLite advertisement, but this is what I'm using. Simply for this fact, until they get the newsletters, there were newsletters in command. I know because I was sending them and I was creating them. The problem was I had to create them. I didn't like the option.
Right.
E-Edge had the marketing, even if 180,000 agents are sending the same thing, it was something it was one less thing I had to create.
Right, which is what I've been waiting for.
Which is what everyone's waiting for. But when it comes to the additional, if we'll say like the newsletters and things of that nature, I'm using MailerLite because I can come up with Ray, not only do I get the free emails, they track. They tell me who clicked it, who bounced,
That's what I
who
like.
clicked, where they went. It's telling me all the information we need to have. That is all coming to command. It's just not there yet. However, let's just say let's say open house. And let's do the airplane thing. Okay, open house. These are smart plans that were created. Look at this one here, Timber Creek open house follow-up after text. Could you see that if you were to go in and if you were to try to add that smart plan to your personal library, you're gonna have to go in and make some edits, because if you look at the steps, send the text, that was pretty easy. There's an email. He has his links in there. He has the information all related to the agent. So these are agent specific. So this is what I'm saying. What is sent, and make sure it's sending what you want it to send. So if you wanted to send an email, the last thing you want to do, yeah, I know it may be, I don't know how difficult it is to see online, and I apologize. I just don't want to add it. I'll add it. I'll add it to mine. I don't care. I always have fun with this. So I'll go back to my smart plans. My Timber Creek, I'm going to edit so you can hopefully see the information a little bit easier. So give me a second. We get the spinning wheel of Command F. Something went wrong. What a shock. Bippity boppity boo. Always worth trying. But I'm going to open it up so you can see. There you go. For example, Tucker Hill open house. Was that your open house? You're going to want to change that. This is something he made for a specific open house.
Is that what this Timber Creek thing is?
That's the Timber Creek. So evidently that was the street that the home was on, possibly, Tucker Hill.
How did it get in our library?
If the library, if Debbie Jones creates one and all it says on every step is roll tide, and you want to share that, you publish it
Oh, so
to
somebody
the
put it in
library.
there.
You can create any smart plan you want. Please don't go out there and just do it. But any smart plan that you feel other agents could use
So we could use his
and change
and
it to
just
you.
change it.
That's why we're in the edit now.
Got it.
Because if you notice, the reply to email is not his, it's mine.
This is the KW culture with us.
This is
sharing
us
our good
sharing.
stuff.
This is the win-win.
Yeah,
Hey, I came up with this great smart plan.
yeah, this is effective
So,
for me, yeah.
You take it and you personalize it. This is the reason. Remember earlier I said with the steps, know what's being sent, you what your desired result is. If you're going to create a smart plan to follow up after an open house, you want it to reference your open house, not his. So you're going to want to go in there and change the information that's in there to your information. But make sure you look at it, because right here, if I'm not mistaken, you see where it says Tucker Hill at a glance? I'm willing to bet he went into his agent site, looked up the neighborhood, or looked up that Tucker Hill neighborhood area, whatever it is, got the URL link and put it in the email. That's how you get somebody to go to your site.
Yeah.
I know, because that's what I do. This is it's an email template that's already available to you. And you can see it's HTML. So you can always change the email if you want to. I wouldn't. But if you want to change template. Of course, nothing's going to come up now. But there are different templates available to you in your designs is where you'll see it. There's different templates. This is promote your app. It's a pre-made HTML as opposed to plain simple text. My recommendation, you're not here to write code, you're not here to, just go with the simple unless they've got something nice and pretty already made for you. The same with, I said this one a lot. Work with me, buyer. This is also in designs. If you want to see what it looks like, preview it. Up top, where it has the agent name, all that, those are placeholders that come from your marketing profile. This is what I thought you were referring to, Heather, when you reached out to me. If you look, it's a nice little email. Goes through, talks about all this information. Make sure it's your app, and it will send your app code according to whatever's in your marketing profile. Puts the Market Center logo, puts all this information that you need in there for you, but you didn't have to create this. This is the information we need to have, fresh information like this for a newsletter type of, this is what it looks like on a desktop, a tablet, or a mobile phone. So if you're asking yourself, well, why do the emails always seem like they're so skinny? Because they're trying to make them so they're mobile friendly. If they make this go all the way across the screen when it goes to mobile, it's just not, the compression's too much. I want to know what's being sent. Here's a task where it says make a call. It will show up in my task for that day to make a call. If I wanted to, I could do this. Come over here, hit space, I go to the merge field, and do this, contact's first name. So when I get the task, it's not just going to say call, it's going to say call. You can put contact first name, last name if you'd like, whatever you want to do. The best thing is when it shows up in the task, it's going to have the link for the contact card anyway. Send the SMS. Whether or not you choose to or choose not to, I'm not sure, and I have to check this, so I apologize beforehand, if single agents can still use this and then they get a task reminder to send the text. With teams, members of a team, someone has to have Twilio. Someone has to have Twilio. That's a mandate for teams. Doesn't bother me. I have it. I think if anyone's, well, what's the advantage of Twilio? Right now, I love the fact that I can have the text all automated. It's smart, and it looks like it's coming from me and sent to them. But I've introduced them. I've sent them a text. This 321, I forgot my number, 321 blah, 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 whatever it is my marketing number. If you want to think of it that way, it's one of the numbers for the home team. So they recognize it right away or add it to their phone book or something. But you can, if you wanted to add steps to this, this is something that's already been asked. One of the pains of creating a smart plan is every time you add a step, you got to scroll all the way back up, select this. Like this is say we're going to add to smart plan. We're just going to make that the last step. So if I click add to smart plan, now I got to go all the way back down and tell them what smart plan. Then if I want to do anything else, I got to go all the way back up. So.
Hey,
Again,
Chuck.
Yes.
When they reply to your text message,
I get a notification right
where?
here. See the bell?
What?
What if you're not looking
Oh.
at the screen?
It'll still go there. Right now, the notifications to Kelly are iffy at best, and that's being generous.
Yeah, what if you're out and about and they send you a text? You're not gonna get any.
You're not gonna get it right
until
away.
You get into your dashboard.
Right
Is
now,
there a way to do an automatic reply?
I don't think we have a setup with Twilio to do the auto reply currently. I know that we're working with Twilio so that, there's a question I figured you would ask is, what if they try to call that number? That number will, I believe it's going to be forwarding to your actual number.
Wait, let's play with that.
So
It'd be nice if this.
now it'd be nice
text
if
would
the text
forward.
actually would forward. I'm going to take what I can get
But I'll
right
take the
now.
phone call,
I'll take,
yeah.
yeah. What's funny is the fact that I have a buyer right now. The guy never, ever answers text messages through my personal text. As a heyday with Twilio, I'm like, dude, you're costing me money. You know, he goes through the app, then he does it through Twilio, and they're like, all right, you know what, we gotta talk about this there. You're not answering my personal number, but you're having no problem with that. Again, I cannot emphasize enough, I don't know the results. I don't think they're seeing it. They're still seeing smart plans. Know your expected or desired result. View the steps. When you add once you add it, make sure what you want them to see is what will be shown or what's going to be sent. Heather can testify to the fact that what looked like should have been a merge field was actually nothing more than we were looking at that buyer plan. It's just a placeholder, which means you had to go in there and change the name, the phone number, and email. When it's a merge field, everything works great. That's why you need to go through. By the same token, with respect to that buyer plan, I must ask Heather, did you notice that step mentioned about the attorney?
Yes, I did. And I wasn't opposed to what it said because it was kind of like people would read it from Florida and be like, oh, I didn't know they did that there. Because if you keep reading the little paragraph, it says, so you don't have to have an attorney being in Florida. I think it said in Florida. But if you want to get one, you can still get one on your own.
Right.
Like it kind of was worded okay for me to keep it in there.
That's what I'm saying. And some people, you almost want to you don't want to overcomplicate what you're sending them. But by the same token, let's go back to when I talk about viewing the steps. So if you already have somebody on a quarterly call plan, to be honest with you, the best time to make the quarterly call plan is maybe right after they got the monthly neighborhood nurture. It's going to be every 3 months, but they're going to have 3 months of monthly neighborhood nurtures received. So if you can do you have any questions? Did you know you can set up a search? Did you know you can do this? Informing and instructing them. And right now it will say it doesn't go anywhere. Heather put in the chat, when you call your Twilio number, it doesn't go anywhere, it says server unavailable. Because right now that feature is unavailable, which is why I said it's coming soon. It's something that
I had to try it.
multiple major teams have asked for. It's the mega agents, they all want that, because if we're going to use that as a number for our businesses, then we need a number that's, I don't need a pager number. I need a number that's going to go to the phone.
That could also be in one of the first messages where you introduce them to it, though, that's your robot, and that
That's why
you talk to you to put
recommend
a real number in there.
Yeah, I would recommend always adding that text as your first text. Because when you send a text through Twilio, well, let's just say, for example, that I'm going to put you on a smart plan, and there's 20 steps after the fact, and there's emails, and there's text messages, and there's calls, whatever the case may be. But being that I am going to be sending you text messages through Twilio, through command, what I need to do is I need to make sure that, one, you're aware that this is my number that we use for marketing purposes. They're going to get two texts, essentially. One that says that this is my marketing number, this is how I send through, this is how things are sent to you, in addition to whatever number that you have for your personal business number. They're also going to get a text that says, would you rather discuss this by email or by phone? Giving them the option to unsubscribe from the text messages. And Twilio will remove them, and they will not receive text messages from you. via Twilio. So I want to give them the warning, hey, this is my Twilio number. This is, this is how, if you think of it, you can almost tell them it's kind of how I, I make sure I set things up and when things come to you so that I can send to you faster. And then they're going to get that message. If they don't opt out, any text message sent afterwards will not have that second message. It's always the first, because we have to give them the ability to unsubscribe. You will see it in a contact record if someone unsubscribes. So don't freak out. They're not sending them text. Did they unsubscribe? Look in your timeline. So we need to know our expected or desired result of the smart plan, especially when you're creating your own smart plan. If you're going to create your own smart plan, may I highly recommend taking pen and paper, and write it out just like you would an old flow chart. This is what I want to happen. This is what I want to happen, blah, blah, blah. Write it down so that when you go back to when you go to the smart plan to create it, one, you're not having to keep going back and forth with the steps when you're adding steps, but this is going to be a delay here. You want to have all that planned out beforehand. When you view the steps that are in the library, when you're looking at a smart plan, I'm interested, what does it do? Make sure you understand what is being done and when it's being done. You don't want to start adding people to smart plans arbitrarily, simply to say, I added them to a smart plan. Because if you add them to too many smart plans at once, they're going to back off. They may see it as being too aggressive. Make sure you review what's being sent and what you want them to see. Because as Heather and I were discussing on our call earlier, there's a difference between a placeholder and a merge field. But go through, play with the smart plans. There's no reason why you cannot play with these smart plans and create your own. There's no reason why you can't create your own smart plan. If you know what you want to do, click on create. Name it. Now, right now, everything is a manual trigger. There will be automatic triggers coming out. I think the first automatic triggers that are going to come out are for Facebook leads, because that's where we get a lot of our, if you say, a lot of unexpected all hours of the day type of leads.
Which means when they do X, Y will automatically happen.
Once Facebook takes the lead and puts it into command, it fires off that smart plan.
Gotcha.
So it's kind of like if they were, it's almost like what eventually will happen. Maybe they'll, if they respond to the email, then it fires them off to another smart plan or things of that nature. Right now, everything has to be done manually. It'd be nice if, if X does Y, then bam, this happens. If it doesn't, this happens. When they first gave us smart plans, that was an option that we had. I think they probably realized that was going to be too complicated. Don't give the agents a ton of logic gates. So within a smart plan, you can create a task. This will be a manual task. Maybe you want to do a drop by. I'm going to do pop buys on this time. And then if you want to make a call, you want to send an email. If you see the little gear up here, you want to make sure that your email is set up for the reply email. And then, of course, with Twilio, if the Twilio account's set up, set a delay. There's no reason why you can't add them to another smart plan within a smart plan. Like I said, I have the smart plan that I send an email letting them know why I'm going to add, why they're receiving the monthly number of nurture. And there's a delay for one day, and then the next step is add them to the smart plan. That's a smart plan.
Automated as much as possible.
What's that? Yeah,
Automating as much as possible.
it's still given a touch.
Right.
Yes, the calls and face-to-face are desired, definitely desired. This is a people business. However, you can't touch them 36 times, they may get a little sick of you, you know.
No, no, we're a technology company.
Right.
They probably kind of expect
They kind of expect some emails, they kind of expect some text messages. The fact that you're sending them text messages, I find surprises them more than anything else. These are the actions right now that we have. Would not surprise me if eventually they add some of the actions. In order to add, all you need to do is click it. So if I want to create task, click it. Now I want you to see, says when's it due? Which is funny, if I want to do it in 1 day or 2 days. I'm thinking, why would you want to add that? But it's silly if you want to make a delay. There's touch. Select this type if the task involves reaching out to the contact or non-touch. And I'm thinking, it says if the task does not involve reaching out to a contact. Are you going to do a pop-by? That's generally going to be reaching out to them in some way, or non-touch, you're just going to social media. That's a lot of things that I'm going to reach out and wish them a happy birthday before their birthday or the day of or something like that. I want to make sure that, I'm going to send a card that doesn't require me to contact them. And then on the day of the birthday, I'll reach out to social media and wish them a happy birthday. That would be a touch. So one, I don't need to talk to them. The other one, if I don't physically talk to them, but I communicate through the social media, it's still. So I can make it however I want. If I want to make a call, I want you to notice though, because I did not set a delay, everything's happening on day 1. So if I need a delay, I click set a delay. You're like, well, that didn't put them, you still have everything on that day 1. I'm gonna go right here to move up. If you notice now, I'll make a call, it's now day 2. So I want this to wait for 2 days. It makes it day 3. You dictate. If you're creating your smart plan from scratch, you get to dictate what happens, when it happens. But please make sure, following what I said earlier, what's being sent is what you want them to see. And make sure you know what's being sent and when. So sometimes you may need to go through and look at your existing smart plans, if you have any with the contact. Maybe take a little piece of paper, say, okay, on the 12th of each month, each month I'm sending in this, or even if it's a quarterly call plan, maybe just draw a little calendar or something like that and say, okay, I'm contacting them here and I'm contacting you, and start spacing it out because you have control over the smart plan. You can say when this goes and when that doesn't go. That's the beauty of the smart plan. We determine what's sent, when it's sent, and how it's sent. Is it a text message? Fine. Is it an email? Fine. Do we need to call them? Fine. We dictate it. This is not someone coming and telling us you have to do this at this time. This is all purely up to you. If you don't like the smart plans that are in the library now, edit them. Make them yours. I don't know how many of you are familiar with Nick Baldwin. Nick Baldwin is the gentleman that came up with the Command 101 class that I hope everyone's either taken or looked to take sometime soon. Well, when he first came out with his Facebook follow-up plan, and he said this is what he came up with, and this is what he liked, and this is what he did, and he told everybody, hey, take it and make it yours. This is the whole purpose behind the library. It's only win-win if we all win. Think came up, these are top rated. There are 50 top rated smart plans. For the agents that are, here's one in Portuguese. So there are smart plans for other languages. Remember I saw Portuguese. Does anyone do the pie giveaway? Here's one right here. Use this smart plan to send your clients for a pie giveaway in November. I know a lot of agents and teams that do that. There's Spanish, there's all types of, I like this one here, the open house super plan. It implements video, text, email, and phone calls. You need to go through, oh, pie giveaway, not a raffle. You want a pie? if you're a customer, do you like apple, pecan, or what else? What else do you guys give away? Huh? Pumpkin, yeah. I won't say pumpkin. I can't stand pumpkin.
Cherry.
But that's just, yeah, cherry, whatever. But you can pick, like, especially for Thanksgiving. A pie at Thanksgiving is like a staple for most families. You want to give an item of contribution. What better way to say, you know what? Why do you need a campaign for that? You can ask them. Ask them why. Do you want, what pie do you want? Why do you need a campaign to remind you about the birthday? Why do you need a campaign for the holidays? Because your business, you're very busy. Because you can't remember. This right here, let's see what the steps say. Sends an email, sends a text, and it tells them right then and there, you want pumpkin, they're only doing pumpkin or apple pie. Which one do you want? Let me know so that, I can order it and have it to you. Think about this, especially with pie giveaways and with the current atmosphere with COVID and everything. Can you think of a better reason to get a pot pie? Pot pie with pot pie.
Yeah.
Can you think of a better reason? You know what? Thank you for your business. Thank you for being part of the family. That could get expensive. If you think that's expensive, try having all your customers go somewhere because someone did give them a pie. It's like I've been telling my daughter, who keeps reminding me when she's looking at the cost of college. Dad, college is expensive. I said, you think college is expensive? Try ignorance. Don't go. Watch how quick that gets expensive. So you don't need a campaign. You don't need a smart plan. However, these are, think of these as like reminders. This is reaching out to the client, automatically reaching out to the client, asking, what pie do you want? What pie would you like? It sends them what? An email and a couple text messages. And then I'm pretty sure the last one's probably get the pies and deliver them. So if you can have a smart plan, send them an email. Hey, we're doing the pie giveaway. We'd like to know which one you'd like. And then same thing with the text messages. However, I will say that if you're in command every day like I am, I monitor for the responses. Because the last thing I want to do is send them an email saying, hey, choose what pie do you want to choose? And then all of a sudden send them a text message, hey, what pie do you want? But if you look at the screen, the HTML, email, and text message are sent the same day. So if they're sent the same day, how do I know it's the same day? There's no delay between them. So send them a text message, send them an email. How many touches is that right there? That's 2. Wait 6 days to see if they give you a response. To be honest with you, I would wait 5 days to see if they have responded. Make it a task, check to see if they responded. Because the last thing I want to do is send them the additional text message if it's not needed. So that's generally what I do with these particular smart plans. I don't want to send them a text that's not needed. I don't need to remind them. You don't want to badger them, for lack of a better term. So this is where I'm trying to share with you. Make them personal, but make sure that you're being smart about it. Because I'm pretty sure what's this last one? Pie reminder. It's not too late to choose your pie. What if they've already contacted you and chose a pie? Do you really want to send that again? That doesn't sound like you're on top of things. That's why between that message and that sometime in that 6 day delay, I want to verify if they've responded. I do that a lot with, I have smart plans that for the contacts that maybe I have an email address, but no phone or no address. Or I have it so that whatever it is I have, I'm asking them for the rest. And, you know, but my steps are always, there's a delay for allow them to respond. And then I have a task, check to see if they responded. If they have responded, remove them from the smart plan. Get the reply from them. If they're going to reply, it will be in the contact card. I'll show you just to give you an idea. What does it look like when they reply to Twilio? And actually, I need to go to. Any questions, anyone? Bueller. Fry. See the text? He sends them all the time. I come up, if I want to, I come over here, send the text to Twilio. And I can send him
From there,
from there.
I was just looking at it, I haven't done the Twilio thing, and I feel like,
Well,
I try to watch your lead. And you
I
seem to be
really
okay
love the
with that.
fact, because we all know there are contacts. Like, we have several contacts, we do a lot of first responders.
Yeah.
They can't answer the phone when you think, there's times that if they can answer the phone, they're calling me. Out of respect, teachers, I'm not calling a teacher in the middle of the day. God knows they have one of the hardest jobs out there. The last thing I need to do, I'm pretty sure they're not answering their text messages, but I don't want to ring the phone. So I'll send them a text message. I can send a text message to Mr. Schneider right here, as long as it's less than 160 characters, then I can send the message. If I want to add a file, I can. There's my, we'll see it again. But I love the fact I can do this from command. I'm not having to go, okay, where's my phone? Because I want to send him a message. But he responds, I get a message. And I get a notification saying, hey, you got a message. Yes, it's not, all right, Debbie's giving it, look, yes, Kelly is not giving the notifications. I wish it were. I'm not going to apologize.
Of data bit to me.
Right.
Kelly is just.
Well, Kelly is the agent app Kelly is going to be replaced by Command Mobile. I don't know when it's going to happen, and I don't want to give you any timeline. And to be honest with you, to be perfectly honest with you, I would rather them focus on getting Command stabilized and working so that it's working for all of us, team and personal agents.
Yeah.
The app's nice. Let's get the consumer app working correctly. Let's get what's out there. I'm not so much worried about the Kelly. If you look, the personal, remember the insights? Those are gone. So.
Oh, the insights are gone?
Insights are gone.
All of that.
All that work we
They
did.
made such a big deal of that.
Anyone that remembers when the insights, go to the businesses and make sure you do this, make sure you give a personal, and you're gonna be like Yelp, and it's gone.
Okay.
Well, a lot of it, everyone's doing the same business. And I'm thinking, well, I'm supposed to be the personal or the neighborhood expert. Shouldn't that be whose review do you put? Then it got to be a popularity contest, and it wasn't subjective or objective at all. And overall, you know what, it wasn't worth it. People are going to Google whatever it is they want to Google anyway.
Yeah.
However, I want to ask, any questions? I want to see if we have any questions. I'm going to put the, put it up here in a second. I want to show that notepad again so everyone can see. So with smart plans, it's as simple as that. We don't, if you want to look at the number 4, I'm going to go over that again in just a second, but know your expected or desired result of the smart plan. So if you're wanting to put your contacts or some of your contacts, all, whatever the case may be, on the smart plan, make sure you know what it's going to do. Make sure you know the expected or what's your desired end result, especially when you're creating your own smart plan. I highly recommend, if you're going to create your own smart plan, please write it out on paper beforehand. You may not have to write the entire email. You can say, send an email asking blah, 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 but make sure you know the steps, because you need to know what it is. Where you don't build the house without plans. Don't build the smart plan without one. View the steps. When you're looking at those smart plans, oh, that sounds cool. Well, what's being done and when is it being done? Because if you suddenly add your contacts to 6 smart plans and it's sending everything one right after another rapid fire, they're going to unsubscribe from everything and probably tell you to drop dead. They're not going to deal with you. Once something's been added to your library, once the smart plan has been added to your library, review the steps to edit, to make sure what's being sent is what you want seen, and make sure that it's not been personalized by another agent. Yeah, I'll publish a bunch of them and put them out there with my name on there. You want to use them? Sure. And you don't change the name, it's going to be my contact information, my app link, all that information is going to be in there. And then again, for the agents that are on teams, please be aware, any smart plan, any smart plan that a contact was on, once the contact was moved from your personal account to the team account, those smart plans were terminated immediately. Once they were moved from personal to team, the personal smart plan was terminated immediately. That's why on my command, I guess I got to share that again. So on my command, when I'm looking at my smart plans, that's why it says team plans. So basically what I had to go through was, I had to go through on my personal account, publish them all, go to the library and pull them off. That's how teams have to do it if they have personalized smart plans. So if you've got a smart plan, you went in and made all the changes you needed to, and then all of a sudden, oh, I got to put it for the team. Agent has to publish them to the library, then go to the library and pull them off or download them there. That's the reason you see, like right here, where it says Morris. Those are the ones I went through and personalized or made changes to. I mean, there were some of like quarterly call plan that I really didn't need. I could just go and download that because it's call them, wait 90 days, call again, rinse, lather, repeat. I didn't need to personalize that, but there were ones like the home anniversary or the testimonials, because the testimonial is, when I send it, it's my links. It's my Google link and my the link to the to our agent site. So that's personalized to us. But anyway, I ask you now, any questions? The floor is open. Yeah.
I think this is enough for today.
Smart plans are very, very helpful.
They're getting much better.
They're much better than they were. However, I want agents to do, if nothing else, I'm gonna put it right back up because I think I cannot stress how important this right here is. You need to know the expected or desired result of the smart plan. Just don't put them in a smart plan simply to put them on a smart plan. You need to know what the result of that smart plan, the desired result or the end result is supposed to be. I mean, quarterly call plan is pretty simple, to call them every quarter. But some of those other smart plans that have been built, when the agents created them and then shared them, it's what was working for their scenario, their business. You need to personalize it for yourself, which goes back to viewing the steps. Review what is done and when. You need to know, make sure you're not adding people and simply over, they don't need to be inundated with 20 texts and 20 emails in a 5-day period. When you add a smart plan to your library, review to make sure what is being sent is what you want them to see. This is where I go back to the difference between the merge fields and a placeholder. And then I brought up about moving the contacts from personal account to a team account, how any contact that's moved, if they are on a smart plan, that smart plan is immediately terminated because it was a personal smart plan, not a team smart plan. So any questions, come off mute, type them in the chat. Did you find it helpful? Did I confuse you even more than you were before? I'm waiting for them to say, no, you confused me.
I have a quick question, Chuck. Can you hear me?
Sure, go ahead.
Hi, this is Selvim. This is a little bit different from, I just want to set up my email campaign. I was done entering all my email addresses and contacts to command. And I wanted to send an email and I got an internal error notice. I know this is a little bit different from the smart plans, but while I have you here, I just wanted to double check to see if I was doing something.
Well, let's do this. You hang on after we end the call, after
Okay.
the particular session.
Okay.
We can talk offline on that one.
Okay, perfect. Awesome, thanks.
No problem. Anyone else? Going once? Going twice? Sold to the lady in the second row. All right, everybody. I do thank you for joining me. Taking time out of your perfect day for ducks to sit here and like I said, I hope this does help. The smart plans are very simple. But they're also something you just don't throw it in there. You need to make sure you understand what they're doing, when they're doing it, and how they're doing it. But if we need to reach out to our contacts and make at least 36 touches, I mean, we did what? We just made 16 between the quarterly call plan and the monthly network nurture. I know there are some agents that reach out to their contacts once a month. That's 24 right there. So there's many ways of getting your touches. The smart plans can act like reminders if you want to think of it that way. However, remember the difference between a task that you create. If you go and create a task, that's generally a one-off. You know what? I need to call them next week, as opposed to a smart plan, which will remind you time after time you need to call them. But I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. I thank you all again. I'm going to stop it now. You want to stop?